Hey Josh. Okay, so with the 3080 Ti, I've been doing some reading, and there's a couple mining programs out there now that can try and circumvent the LHR mode. They aren't fully successful, but they do help. So I was telling you about nice hash because I like the layout and like the UI, and you can do everything from your phone, and it's pretty neat that way. But this is TRex Miner, and it was one of the ones that has the ability in it. You have to do a little more setup, but like with nice hash, the highest I could get for a mega hash was about 60 to 65, no matter what I did. Right now I'm running around 85 pretty solidly. That's where it seems to stay at. I've been able to hit 87, and I think that my LHR kicks in at 88, 87 and a bit, 88, somewhere in there, because I did trip it, and then it dropped it back down to like that 65 mark, right? But yeah, so I'm trying this out. I've got all right, so with what I was doing and what I was reading, power limit should be around like 100 actually. It doesn't need to be 105. I was playing with it just to see if it made a difference, but it didn't. So you leave your power at 100. And then the core clock, how it says curve. So you can hit F, or you can hit on that little bar here that's red. It brings up this graph. So I said I was going to say a little bit more with it, but what we have is basically the frequencies, and then along the bottom you have the voltage or the millivolts that's going to it, and this is basically all of our plot points for our curve. And what I've realized is that I was playing around with it, and I'm running at about 1700 right now, 1700 megahertz at the voltage. So this is just stock voltage, exactly where it's supposed to be for that. I tried increasing it to 1800, and that's when I started doing more hashes, and I triggered that LHR, and then it knocked me back. So I think I have some fine tuning. I'm debating trying 1750 and seeing if I can get in there, get those hashes up. Something else that makes a huge difference in your crunching is the memory. The GDR6X is really good memory. Right now I've got a 1500 megahertz boost on it. I did have it at 16, but there's two numbers that are always flashing for me. The 63, that's my core, right? The actual CPU core. It's not doing a lot, but the memory is. And the memory's running at 94C. I think like the max for this memory, from what I remember, is like 110 Celsius or something, but you want to be down from that. So anyways, I'm in the yellow area. I'm not in red. If you hit 100, it goes red, and you're starting to push it, and you want to keep your memory down from there. So 1500 works. I don't know if I want to try 1550, play around with it a bit, get just a little bit more out of it, and maybe try like 1755, see if I can get back up to like 86, somewhere in there, like 85 and a half, 86 and a half. Oh, I was 86 right there. So I'll play around with it, see where it is, but the goal is to get as high as you can without triggering that LHR. And RT Miner, fairly simple to set up, but you actually do have to like go into a configuration script, put in the wallet that you want it to send the money to. And the one I downloaded, the script actually has the LHR already in it, which is kind of nice too. So like when it starts, in this case, they have different modes, but it was an auto detect, and it put it into, I want to say 71 is where it was. Let me take a quick look. Oh, too far down. Let's see. But yeah, I think it was around 71, and then 70 is like low. There's like two modes, 70 and 71. 70 is like a low hashing power that does a little better than probably what you would get on nice hash, but 71 tries to push it and keep you just under the limiter. And it seems to be working, but in the beginning it'll like tell you what the mode is. You can manually set the modes too, but the auto detect worked fine for me with my 3080 Ti. And yeah, like I also did set a pretty heavy fan curve actually. Like if we go into settings, you can go fan curve, and then just enable a user fan curve. And my max temp is only 75, and I just have a good angle. So even when I'm in like my 60s, my fan's still up around like 80%. But when I cool it down, like the card will still ramp down. Again, like 63, it's not the core that's the problem, it's the memory. And the memory actually does have like strips, thermal strips that connect it to the cooling unit, right? So it does help to increase fan speed, but 80's kind of where I want to be, much louder than that, and I start to hear it too much. But I'm not going to just manually set it at 80 in case for some reason something happens and it starts running really hot. I want those fans to be able to ramp up and protect my card when I'm not around. Under TRex Miner, I don't know if it has the app for your phone to be able to like check in on it, make sure things are good, remotely shut it down. I don't know if it has any of that. This one is just a miner. Plug the script in, it runs. You set your hash pool and like your mining pool, or your hash, sorry, not your hash pool, your mining pool, and basically just set up your wallet. I've just started playing around with it, so we'll see what we get. I did notice that when I hit 83, I'm no longer like a 330 kilohash per watt anymore. It's not as efficient, but I'm at 280 kilohash a watt and drawing 86.24. I'm pretty happy with that right now. But I'm gonna play around with this one. Boy, my phone just doesn't want to focus. I'm gonna play around with it for a bit. I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit more out of the curve, and just let you know where I get with it. But there's a lot of information. Another thing that's really good to have too is hardware info 64, and this gives quite a bit of info. So if we go up here, this is just the frequency that my cores are running at, but over here it's a massive list of all the sensors in the computer. So I had to like close down all my drives, like everything else that came before the GPU. The GPU is a fair ways down the list, but when you get to it, it'll tell you GPU temperature, which is kind of like the stock stuff that you see. GPU memory junction temperature. This is the one that's like on die. This is the one that I'm worried most about, 96, right? So keeping an eye on it. And then any other hotspot temperatures, there's sensors for it. It's pretty good that way. And then just like under the GPU down here for all of them, these are all my memory modules and my power modules and the temperatures that they're running at, right? So GPU 270, not too bad, but basically right here, the memory junction temperature, this is the one that seems to be the highest. And I'm keeping an eye on it, wanting to make sure that that one stays down. But just good software to see what's going on, make sure of it. Like, it's kind of neat to see what you have for memory sensors here. If one of them's like way off, you know, you might have a thermal pad that's out, or who knows. But as my card goes, it all looks pretty good that way. I'm just really pushing the memory right now. 1500 is almost even a little bit high. I don't know. I really want to keep an eye on it and see how it performs in the long run. I've only been running it like this now for about an hour, kind of playing around with it. But I'll let you know how this works out, and it may be the way to go on your new card. And then all you do is basically you dial in your settings, get everything that you want, right? Apply them, and then you can just hit save to like slot 1. And then every time you hit slot 1, that'll have your settings, and then under slot 2 you can have like a gaming profile with an overclock, and you just switch back and forth whether you're mining or gaming. Makes it a lot less inconvenient, still inconvenient a bit, but less.